So we got to talk about the Sony ZV-1 Mark II. I know I'm a little bit late to the party, and I've kind of been formulating my thoughts about this camera, and I've actually been cruising through Halong Bay, and to be real, this camera doesn't excite me near as much as I wished it did, and so I kind of feel bad to talk about a camera that I'm gonna pretty much rag on. So spoiler alert, when I first heard about the Sony ZV-1 Mark II, I kind of assumed that they were going to be stepping up the game. I wasn't going to be surprised if they at least put 10-bit into it, even if it's just 10-bit 4K 30. I was hoping for 4K 60 in this camera. That would have been excellent. But at the very least, I wish that they wouldn't have messed things up. One of the incredible features of the original ZV-1 was that super amazing active stabilization. The only big issue that they had was that it cropped in way too much. And so rightfully so, they changed up the focal length. Instead of being 24 to 70, it's 18 to 50. And I think a lot of people were excited to hear about that. But they removed the IBIS from the lens, and it just causes some weird effects with the digital stabilization, and then they taken it out of the lens. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that this camera is trash and it isn't good for anyone. It would be a decent camera for beginners. I think it would be a decent camera for like a B cam, like a product shot camera, or even just a tripod camera or a webcam, things like that. But they're marketing this camera for vloggers, which I've been, kind of travel vlogging over the last few months here in Asia. And to be real, I've been missing a good point and shoot camera. I have the A7S III right now hooked up with the Sony mic, so it's fairly small and compact, but it can be a bit cumbersome at times to just, be at a dinner or be eating some food. It would be nice to be able to just pull out a camera that's going to have a similar color science to what I'm working with the Sony, and it can match my video really well. And I was really hoping that this camera would be a viable step up from the ZV-1, and it would be maybe my next purchase for a camera. But as it sits, in my mind, the Sony Xperia phone that they just released, I think it's like the Mark V of that phone, with the new stacked type sensor, things that I'm seeing out of that camera look more impressive than this point and shoot camera. And yes, it's more expensive for sure, but you're also getting a smartphone out of it, and you're going to be having that smartphone on you at all times with, in a lot of ways, better specs. And I wonder even if the low light would be comparable, considering it's that new generation of sensors. On top of that, that could work as a secondary monitor for my mirrorless camera if I actually wanted to use it in that way. So I think for a lot of people, that smartphone, even though it's kind of like sacrilegious to say sometimes, but that particular Sony smartphone, to me, is a better buy than this, cheap point and shoot camera, and I'll just call it that. So I kind of hated to make this video to just kind of stomp on the ZV-1 more than Casey at Camera Conspiracy. I already stomped on it. He did an amazing job. I'll actually link that below because I think it's worth watching. It's a good laugh, and I think he gives an even more impassioned critique of this camera. But I did want to at least get my thoughts on this camera. But drop in the comment section below and give me your thoughts on this camera. Am I being too harsh on the camera? Am I not thinking of something? Is maybe this a camera for you? Let me know all that in the comment section below. If you've liked this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing. And until next time, peace.